Starship Troopers Extermination is now out on console. So how does it run on the Xbox Series S versus X versus PlayStation 5? I'll get right to the point. It runs badly on all three consoles, but there's still one console which does slightly better than the other ones. Fair warning, you do need PS Plus or Xbox Live to play this game. If you don't have those, the game just keeps hitting you with that same paywall and just won't even let you go to the main menu. While the real game is completely multiplayer, there is actually a single player missions mode. I'm not sure why they couldn't just allow players to play that mode without PS Plus or Xbox Live. The game's pretty small, only 9.2 gigabytes on the Series S and X and 8.4 gigabytes on PS5. That is a bit of a surprise for a current gen game. It's Unreal Engine 5, but the graphics look at best PS4. By the way, it's not on PS4 or Xbox One. You do need the current gen Series S, X or PS5 to play it. There's two graphic modes on all three consoles, including the Series S. We got quality mode and performance mode. Both modes seem to actually run at similar resolution. I couldn't really notice too much of a difference between the graphics of the modes. Quality mode targets 30 FPS. It's dynamic 1080p on Series S and dynamic 1440p on Series X and PS5. You can clearly see the missing objects and lower graphics on the weaker Series S. Performance mode targets 60 FPS, but really seems to be the same resolution when it comes to the graphics. I guess the difference between the two is that unlocked frame rate you get with performance mode. So the image scaling is much more aggressive in performance mode, and the resolution does tend to get blurry when you get in these intense firefights. A first-person shooter like this has no business having a 30 FPS quality mode, but I guess Starship Troopers simply can't hold a solid 60, as you'll see later on. So the developers just gave us quality mode just so they can lock the frame rate in it instead of the crazy fluctuations you get in performance mode. You likely notice that locked 30 FPS and that locked 60 as well in the side-by-side footage I've shown so far. The thing is, most of that footage is from the single player tutorials, but that of course isn't the real game. Those single player tutorials are pretty boring. Most people are likely gonna skip them. Now when you're actually playing the real game with up to 16 players and hordes of giant alien bugs charging at you, well, the performance drops. Let's first look at quality mode. Here's the Series S running that 30 FPS quality mode, and it's pretty much a solid 30 FPS with only minor drops. Even the Series X and PS5 hold that 30 FPS pretty well with just some minor drops. But come on, this is a first-person shooter. The game just feels so sluggish in 30 FPS. It should be a crime to play a first-person shooter in 30 FPS. So I highly recommend performance mode. But of course, that performance mode is not a locked 60, it's not even close. All three consoles struggle in performance mode. PlayStation 5 seems to be the worst. It averages around 40 FPS with quite a few drops into the mid-30s. Series S is in second place with average frame rate of around 47 to 48 FPS. Series S does stay in the high 40s most of the time and even gets into the 50s. The weak Series S though does get super blurry in performance mode. Both the Series X and PS5 are going to give you much better image quality. Series X is perhaps the winner here. It's similar in FPS to the Series S, maybe a single frame higher on average, but it simply wins because it'll give you a much sharper looking image while delivering that frame rate. Overall, though all three consoles struggle in performance mode, maybe that's the real reason for a locked 30 FPS quality mode. I would still recommend playing in performance mode, especially if you have a VRR capable display. Hopefully the developers do optimize and fix this game though, because it's pretty horrible right now. The game does also have server issues. You'll notice other players and even all the bugs just moving in this odd laggy way. It doesn't look that good. Once you do get past the performance issues, the game has potential. You'll gather resources, build your base, and then protect that base against waves of enemies. You see the bodies in this game don't disappear. So as you get deeper into the waves, all those dead bugs just kind of pile up on top of each other. That whole thing is pretty impressive. It really adds to that whole chaos that you would expect from a Starship Troopers game. But it also might be the reason the performance of this game is horrible on consoles. I don't fully blame the consoles here though. I think the game does need to be optimized much better than it is right now. It's still a game that's definitely worth checking out. It has flaws right now, but if the developers can clean it up, this game's a blast to play. I know review outlets like IGN gave it a bad score, but it's rated fairly highly on Steam and other user review websites. I would personally give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I'll bump it up to an 8 or a 9 if it wasn't for all the performance issues. So that's what you need to know about Starship Troopers Extermination on Xbox Series S versus X versus PS5. For the rest of the video, check out some more gameplay with that FPS counter shown.